What is up and welcome back. We are your Emerald Coast relocation team. Today we are on location over at Navarre Beach. Last week we did Pensacola Beach, the pros and cons, so I highly recommend you go checking that video out because this video right here we're going to be comparing Navarre Beach to Pensacola Beach.
All right, one of the major and the first differences that we're going to be covering is obviously going to be that restaurant lifestyle. When you are over, so we're here at Navarre. When you're over here at Navarre, you don't have as many like walkable restaurants. I mean, you do have Windjammers, you have the Beach House, Social Bar and Grill, but Juana's and Sailor's Grill is actually going to be on the sound side. So when you're over on the beach, those are the two closest ones, are the first ones that I mentioned. And then the only thing that you really have outside of those, there's going to be Andy D's. So, and then I guess a little ice cream place down the way. But there is not a ton of restaurants over here at Navarre.
Yeah, so Juana's is actually one of our favorite ones. It's where we like to go over there, you know, play some volleyball with the kids. Every now and then we might go up and get a drink. The food is all right, you know, it's not bad. We've been there with family, and it's you know, it's not bad, you know, but it's...
That's more Sailor Girls connected.
Yeah, that's more Sailor...
Juana's is like more like bar food.
It's more bar food. It's like during tourism season, honestly, you see it blows up so much more. You have a lot of people over there playing volleyball. Great little spot. What I also like about Juana's too, though, is like we just bring our cooler in there, play some volleyball, have our own drinks. That way you don't have to keep going up to the bar. But, you know, we still like to support locals. So we'll still go up there, you know, have one every 3 drinks and make sure that we do support them because they are allowing us to use those volleyball courts. Then if we talk about Pensacola Beach, there are so many more restaurants over there, whether we're talking about Flounders, whether we're talking about Whiskey Joe's. They are getting a, what's it called? The frog, senior frog. Senior frog over there. What else they got? I mean, Pig Leg Pete's. What are some other ones?
Okay, so we've got crabs, we've got sidelines. Actually, I made a list for you guys because I was actually counting the differences because I was like, I know there's a lot more. There was over 28 different restaurants. So we already talked about some like the popular ones, but there's also like Paradise, there's Papa's Pizza, Hooters, Felix's, Salty Rose, which used to be Land Shark, and then you have the dock right off of, you know, by the ball over, you know, off of the pier. So I mean, you have a lot of restaurants to choose from when you're over at Pensacola. You are going to have a much quieter atmosphere at Navarre. You're not going to have all of the music or anything like that that you do from, say, the dock or from Crabs when you're over at the beach.
The second comparison that we're going to be talking about are the beaches over here at Navarre Beach as compared to Pensacola Beach. And there's not really too much difference. The biggest difference you are going to see is over at Pensacola Beach at the main parking lot. It does get pretty damn crazy over there.
But a lot of it has to do around the activities. If you are going to be at Navarre, it's going to be a quieter, more kind of serene. In fact, some of the activities even reflect some of it. You're going to have a lot of yoga on site. Like they do like the moonlight yoga over here. They have a couple yoga shops that are actually in Navarre that will bring their class to the beach and host, you know, little free classes or complimentary classes. The last one that I went to, the moonlight one, they actually donated any of the money towards the marine life conservation, which was really cool. And there was so many people actually right where I'm standing. There was probably a good like 40 people out here doing yoga. If you're going to go over to Pensacola Beach, you are going to have kind of more of that rowdy adventure lifestyle.
Yeah, when you're over at Pensacola Beach, especially when we're over there, you know, see a lot of people going out there doing beer pong, slam ball, kind of, I mean, they have some volleyball right off of Crabs right there. You have a lot more activities where if you can see right here, people are kind of here more to relax a little bit more, and that's what Navarre Beach is. Navarre Beach is so much more of your relaxed beach than it is like a party beach.
If you're talking about Navarre, there is a couple paid things that you can do. If you start going and heading towards Pensacola, you're going to hit the National Seashore. It is a beautiful drive. It is a slow drive, and it's beautiful. It's actually really beautiful to go towards Pensacola and watch the sunset. There are also the rentals for the pavilions over at Opal Beach. I think they're around $25 a day. Just so you know, whether you go at 3 o'clock or if you go early in the morning, that $25 is the whole day. So I recommend if you are going to go rent a pavilion that you do it early and you take all day and have it, you know, you can then have lunch, you know, with a covered area, things like that. And then right before you hit Pensacola, there's also going to be that dog beach. So that's kind of between Navarre and Pensacola. If you want to go towards like the paid attraction when you're in like Pensacola Beach, if you keep going further up, you're going to be able to do Fort Pickens. This is going to be $25 per vehicle. Now, if you are a vet, you can get discounts on some of these. If you're a veteran though, this is something that I learned. You have to be present with the card if you are a veteran. If you're active duty in the military, your family can actually go without you in that car and still use your card. But if you are a vet, you have to be present with your family. Otherwise, they also have to pay the additional $25 per car.
Oh, hey, what's up? Decided to join me on my little beach stroll here. Hey guys, real quick, I'm gonna pop in here. If you are loving this content, do make sure that you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, that way you're notified every single time that we put out a new video. And if you are looking at purchasing real estate in the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below it there, we always answer, it doesn't matter date or time, even when I'm about to stroll on this beach right now. Yeah, Fort Pickens, pretty much it was like an old Civil War fort. Super awesome. We went there, we took some friends. It's just like, I could spend an entire day over there just taking in all the history, going through all the different tunnels. Such an amazing spot. So if you are a history buff, you definitely want to check out Fort Pickens, so much so that actually one of our buddies is like, man, I feel like I'm just gonna like quit my job, come down here and be a tour guide for Fort Pickens. It is an awesome spot, especially if you are into that Civil War era kind of history. The third comparison that we are going to be talking about is that tourism, because there is so much more tourism over at Pensacola as opposed to Navarre Beach. So what do those numbers look like if we are talking about Navarre Beach? I think these numbers are based off of 2023. You pretty much had 1.43 million people who visited Navarre Beach as opposed to Pensacola Beach, and actually this lumps into Escambia County, so we're also talking about Pensacola downtown. You had about 2 million people. Now you might think to yourself, yeah, that doesn't seem like it's that big of a difference. You definitely do feel it because of all the attractions that they have over Pensacola Beach. We mentioned those restaurants. You have a ton of people flocking from the beach over to the restaurants, where I could see in Navarre Beach, a lot of people more so, it's like whether they're renting an Airbnb, going back to their hotel, there's not as much as the afterlife from the beach as there is over Pensacola Beach.
The other thing too is because people are trying to stay close to the attractions by Pensacola Beach, it seems a little bit more crammed, whereas in Navarre we see people spread out a lot because all of the beach is very similar, and so why not just walk a little further? Plus there are multiple ways to walk over the beach to be able to do that. Now I will say at Navarre, if it does start to get really crowded, one thing that you will struggle with is going to be parking though, because there's not as many little parking spots along the way to be able to do that unless you're in the main kind of parking hub. So that is one thing to be aware of. If as you start going into the residential area, there's going to be few and far between when it comes to kind of turn-offs to have that free parking.
The fourth comparison we're going to be talking about is your proximity, and the main one for us, like why we chose where we decided to live closer to Pensacola, is to that airport. You are going to be so much further. Plan on tacking on about 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic from Navarre Beach, as opposed to Pensacola Beach. You can probably easily get there in about 20 minutes.
However, if you are looking at the benefits to Navarre's placement, obviously that's going to be your proximity to Destin, because a lot of people will say, hey, we do like to take advantage of the Navarre area and kind of be there majority of our time, but we want to take a day trip over to Destin. How long is that realistically going to take? From Navarre, it's going to be 42 minutes. On a good day, obviously, with some tourism, that could change that. And then on a good day from Pensacola, it's going to be about an hour and 8 minutes, hour and 10 minutes. So that is going to be the big benefit. If you're staying in Navarre, you can take advantage of going over to Destin for a whole day and really be able to like kind of be within that day trip time.
And like one thing that we see is a lot of people, when they do choose their vacations, they're usually picking between Pensacola Beach or Destin. And so it's like, that's why I think that it really doesn't matter too much. But if you are living in these areas, you might think to yourself, you know what, okay, I want to be somewhere a little bit quieter. I want to take advantage of that craziness, you know, after hours or wherever it might be. Then you might want to be a little bit closer to Destin. But say you want to be live somewhere that's close to the airport, Pensacola Beach is definitely going to be the favorite city.
Now another thing too, I hear
it's not even a city, it's a beach.
The other thing that I hear people say too is that a lot of times they'll do Pensacola Beach because they have family, and then they still want a vacation in Destin. So the natural thing to do is to stay in Navarre so that they can go either direction depending on where they are meeting people or how that kind of vacation has been planned out.
All right, the fifth thing that we are going to be talking about when comparing these two beaches is going to be that housing. If you plan on living in the Emerald Coast and these one of the two locations that you are choosing, I will tell you, for me personally, if I was coming here without kids, I'd probably choose Navarre Beach just because it is more serene, it is a little bit more quiet, it's not as big of a tourist spot. But the housing prices are, I mean, they're a little different, not too different. Typically, if you're looking at like an attached, so your condos and townhouses, between the both of these, I mean, it's pretty similar. You're looking at like between 5 and 800,000. Pensacola Beach, maybe 700,000. So not that big of a difference. We're talking about that attached.
Now, when you're looking at how many you're actually going to be finding, again, pretty similar. You're only going to be finding maybe a couple, maybe one around Pensacola active right now in that price range, maybe 2 over in Navarre in that price range. So they are few and far between in that price range. So do not plan on that being, you know, you're going to have a lot of options in that price range on the beach side.
All right, so now if we're diving into the detached, so your single family housing, it's going to be, I'd say, tack on about $100,000 to look at that. Only take that with a grain of salt though, guys, because majority of the time when we are looking at if you want to live in a single family home on either of these beaches, you are going to be spending more than $1 million. But right now there's a few listed right in between like 800, 900,000 in both places.
I would not say a few. I would say maybe one or two.
A couple,
again.
yeah.
So again, few and far between, attached, detached, under $1 million. So let's talk about, okay, what about over $1 million? What are we looking at? What does inventory look like? All right, so majority of the pricing on Navarre Beach is going to be between that 1 and 2 million, and that actually is the same over in Pensacola Beach. Where we start to see some differences is when we're going to start climbing into that 2 million. 2 million, there'd be, you know, a couple of those in both places. But the thing about Navarre is Navarre has always had more area for building. So we are starting to see more houses come on the market that are going to hit that $3 and $4 million mark, which is crazy because Navarre used to be very affordable. It was kind of untouched for a while. We were seeing people buying up lots and holding them, and now we are seeing people build big homes on them, selling them in the 3 to 4 million, and we're going to see a lot more of them because of how many more areas there are to build those larger homes here.
All right, and when we're talking about that housing, where's that housing located? If you're over at Pensacola Beach, you're pretty much gonna go past all the tourism, so you're going to the left of the pier, way down past the resorts a little bit. That's where the majority of your housing is going to be. Whereas Navarre, you get off the bridge and you're going to go to the right, and there's going to be a lot more housing. So all the resorts are kind of bunched into one little lump right here, and then it's just all houses all the way down. And then you think about that with expansion. If you plan on living here, where Pensacola Beach, it seems like there are resorts popping up. Or here, there's a lot of houses taking up a lot of that area where you might be able to put a resort. So that might, when you're looking at somewhere to live, you might not have as much of a tourist trap here as opposed to Pensacola Beach.
All right, we've talked about 5 differences. Real quick though, I do want to give you a little snippet. We did hear that we are finally going to get some kind of skyrise or some kind of large hotel type building, condo. We're not exactly sure. I got to look at the new development plans over here in Navarre. Just like a snippet, Peter and I are watching that all the time to figure out like where are we seeing growth, because the city will typically anticipate that as well. We'll start to see people come out and start building these larger accommodations. We are starting to see that in Navarre. We're starting to see the prices raised in Navarre. Navarre is not always that happy about the changes. It's beautiful up here. It is getting discovered, but there are still major differences between the two beaches. If you guys are loving this content, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell. We are putting out new videos every single week. Also, let us know if there is a certain area that you'd like us to cover. We are taking requests. We do these videos for you guys, and we want to make sure that we're staying on top of what you are most interested in.
And of course, guys, if you are planning on living in the Emerald Coast, we have assembled the best team of real estate agents to help you out with all your real estate needs. Give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below it there. We always answer. It doesn't matter day or time. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
Will expansion